So, speaking to a lot of people, and a lot of people was like, I probably should do like a YouTube page, because some of the things that I say to them, like when I try to give people my thoughts on how the world is or how things going. So I figured I might as well go ahead and give it a try. So here it goes. How I feel about certain things. For me, I had COVID, and I had it for almost a month. I was out of work for almost a month, and I got a real bad case of it, like to the point to where like I felt like I was dying. Forgot how to walk. Some of my long-term memory I lost. And anyone who knows me, they've heard this story before, but if you don't, it hit me really bad. But prior to COVID, the way that I thought about things was, especially when it came to love, the way I thought about things was like, I wanted it by any means necessary, whether I knew it was good or whether I knew it was bad. And especially if I knew it was bad, I allowed myself to block out the fact that I knew that it was bad, because I was afraid to lose love. And so whether I knew it was, even though I knew it was wrong, I wanted to hold on to it. Let me move the camera. And so I accepted a lot of shit that I probably should not have, but it wasn't coming from a dark place. It was just coming from a place of, okay, you love who you love and how you love, and you, even though you know it's wrong, you just kind of want to hold on to it. And let me do this real quick. Oh boy. And so I allowed myself to accept anything. And after COVID and feeling like I was on the brink of death, my entire mentality changed. And then maybe it was because I felt like, you know, I possibly could have left this earth. And a lot of these videos I want to do for my sons to go back and look at and, you know, remember me, because, you know, I won't be here one day, but this would be something great for them to look at. But I say that to say this. Love is a very, 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 very strong thing when it comes to me, and usually anybody. And so most of the time you end up loving the people who you want to be with, and most of the times you can't. And what ends up happening is you start to forget what you're worth. And that's one thing that I had lost touch of. I had lost touch of my value. Like, I started to forget, like, hey, you know, I've done dumb things. I have broken a heart before, and I've had my heart broken. And so I started to believe that I was like not a loser, but losing. And so I would allow my emotions to completely take over, to the point to where like I wasn't eating or sleeping because of thinking of certain feelings of anyone that I ever loved. And after COVID, it's not so much that I stopped loving them, but I started loving me. Because the worst thing to do, and I tell people this all the time, the worst thing you can do is be in a situation to where you love someone way more than they love you. It's always going to be a bad fight that you're in when you're fighting that fight. That's just a war you're probably not going to win, simply because depending on the situation, if you don't have something and that person does, you will lose out. because sometimes people are put in your life for you to remember what you're worth. I know I've seen it and I've been through it. And a lot of times you take on someone else's pain. Like, someone's going through something and you may not have been going through something. And a lot of times I find myself trying to take on people's pain. And then what happens is that pain becomes yours because you're trying to help that person get through that pain. Because you figure you guys will get through this together. When you take on someone else's pain, a lot of times what happens is that person gets out of that pain. But then that pain stays with you. And now you're wondering, like, wait a minute. You know, I was fine. And I just took on this person's pain. And now this person's treating me like shit. So now you've inherited that person's pain. It became yours because you tried to help them through the healing process when now no one's helping you through the healing process. So you've got to learn to balance that shit. Because I know for me, I am probably got wear my heart on my sleeve. So when I love you, you're going to know that I love you. Hands down. And a lot of people, they forget why they love who they love. You know, just saying that you love someone, you can easily just say you love someone. But do you remember why you love someone? And when you do remember why you love them, you remember how it felt when you took the steps to finally be with that person. And you have to remember that. You always have to remember that. Simply because it's very easy. The easiest thing we can do in the world is just completely give up on someone. That's easy. You could always be like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not doing this no more. It's the trying to work shit out. That's difficult, but you need to do that. And if you love someone, then you love them. But you got to remember why you love them and how you love them. And I know for me, I don't ever forget that. I think my problem was worrying if the person that I loved me the same way. Well, that's not for me to figure out. I cannot figure that out. It's not on me. I am not that person. I am me. And now I have to remember what I bring to the table and what my value is. And you're not always going to end up with who you want to be with. But if you love that person and it was genuine, then remember that. Because sometimes you need that. You need to know you were able to love somebody and not treat everybody that you meet after that the same way. Because then what ends up happening is you're saying, oh, I'm not messing with nobody else because they did da 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 da. And then that person's going to inherit your pain. They're going to be like, I know this guy likes me, but it's something about him that's making him not, or female, or it's something about her that's making her. Da, 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 da. We can't take on each other's pain for the wrong reasons. Now, if you take on somebody else's pain and y'all get through it together, oh, that's what I'm talking about. And for me, 2 years away from 40. But I can't keep trying to look for love to just happen or to go try to make it happen. If it's organic and it happens, it happens. But I think a lot of times I felt like I needed that shit, but I don't need it. I want it. No one wants to be alone, but you also don't want to be someone who's with someone and they love you more than you love them. Especially if you've been through that. You cannot put through somebody through the same pain you went through. And that shit always usually ends up happening. You end up doing the same shit to someone because that shit happened to you. You got to just pump your brakes and you got to be like, okay, I'm going to take a chance. Let's see how this works. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Address it. I have a hard time of addressing shit, letting it drag out. You let it drag out, and the next thing you know, you're in a situation you don't want to be in, and then you're trying to make things work, but it doesn't. And your heart definitely always will tell you what to feel. It'll tell you. And sometimes you could be with someone and you'd be like, man, I remember so-and-so. We all love, everybody's different. So you're going to love someone different than someone else all the time. It should never be the same because we're all different. We may do some of the same things, but it's going to be in a different way. It's not going to be in the same way, you know. And for me, just to know someone used to love me or loved me at one point, at the point in my life that I'm at right now, I have to be okay with that, because what else can I do until I get to the point to where I'm in a relationship and it's long term? Because me, I'm not looking for, oh yeah, that's been my girlfriend for 6 years. Nah, it's marriage time. I can't keep doing that. Nah, that's just my girl. You know, we've been living together, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we've been together for 6 years. That's your girl. Nah, that needs to be your wife or your husband. If you're at this age, you're still doing that, maybe you aren't sure if that's the person you want to be with. I only make this video simply because I like to voice my opinion on stuff, and people probably disagree, and that's fine. This is just how I look at things now. You got to live life, man. COVID taught me one thing, is that I want to be with somebody. I don't need to be with somebody. And I need to be a great dad. No questions. Mandatory. Need to be that way. It's learning to separate the things in your life that you need and you want. And I know I've been through my fair share of emotional roller coasters for years. And I can honestly say that, like, now, I don't have any ill will towards anyone that I've ever loved at all. I used to, because I used to be like, why didn't it work? But it just didn't. But you love someone and y'all remain friends, that's all that really matters, because at the end of the day, you love somebody, you want them to be happy, whether it's with or without you. If you love them, and it's always going to be about how you handle things. You gotta be able to handle things in a way to where you know if you do something, you might hurt somebody. You know, you got to think about that. Man, you know what? What if this was me and that happened? I will want to make sure that I protect that person's feelings because I care about that person. So I'm going to have a conversation with them and let them know, hey, this X, Y, and Z, or whatever the case may be. I can't just be like, hey, if you see, you see, or if you know, you know. I've just never been that way. I'm a very understanding person, but I understand how to control my emotions more now. Like, COVID unlocked the part of me that I just blocked off for so long. I just was like, I had the blinders on and I seen what I wanted to see, and, you know, selective hearing, selective sight. But all in all, love is one of those things where when you get it and you know you have it and you hold on tight to it, because a lot of things that's going on in the world right now, and you don't know when you'll ever see it again. So whether you are with that person or not, you remember that love, because that love, it can be here today, going tomorrow. That's my take for now. I'm probably going to do more of these because, like I said, I kind of want to voice my opinions on different topics. And so, yeah, tune in next time. I don't know when I'll do another one. I'm gonna try to be consistent with it. Can't really guarantee that, but I'm out.